Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ma'am. Today, our lesson is all about performance-based assessment, but my topic is specifically the advantages and limitations of performance-based assessment. To know your prior knowledge, we're going to answer a 4-item scenario. You will write your answer on a 1/4 sheet of paper and you will going to answer it 1 minute per item, and then you will going to pass your 1/4 sheet of paper during our discussion. First scenario: which quality of assessment is being compromised in this situation? A teacher wants to test students' understanding of the causes of climate change. In the exam, most questions ask students to define terms like weather and atmosphere instead of explaining causes. A. Validity, B. Reliability, C. Practicality, or D. Authenticity. Number 2. Which aspect of assessment becomes the main issue here? A school decides to use virtual reality or VR headsets for students to explore ancient civilizations. The activity fits the student lesson well, but the school only has 2 VR headsets and 200 students. A. Validity, B. Practicality, C. Authenticity, or D. Reliability. Okay, number 3. Which assessment quality is best shown in the role-play task? In an English class, students are asked to write a dialogue between 2 characters and then perform it as a short role-play. This is compared to giving them a 20-item multiple-choice test about dialogue writing rules. A. Reliability, B. Practicality, C. Authenticity, or D. Validity. Okay, last number. Which assessment quality is being questioned in this situation? 2 teachers in the same school grade the same set of essays. Teacher A gives one student a score of 90 out of 100, while Teacher B gives the same essay a score of 70 out of 100. A. Authenticity, B. Validity, C. Practicality, or D. Reliability. At this juncture, we're going to know what is performance assessment. A performance assessment involves a student's demonstration of a skill or competency in creating a product, constructing a response, or making a presentation. This is according to Lane 2010. Rather than ask questions about how to do something, students actually perform the skill or behavior. So sinasabi dito sa performance assessment is that the students actually perform the skill or behavior. So it means to say that the students are actively engaged in this performance assessment. The emphasis of performance assessment is that on the students. The students' ability to perform the task by producing their own work with their own knowledge and skills. So dito sinasabi ng performance assessment na kinakailangan na ang mga estudyante ay makakapag-provide o makakapag-produce ng kanilang own work or product galing doon sa performance task na kanilang ginagawa according to their knowledge and skills. So yun ang sinasabi ng performance assessment. Ngayon, aalamin natin kung ano nga ba ang strengths and limitations of performance assessments. First is ang strength. Strengths is the major benefits of performance assessments are tied closely to providing effective instruction. These explain much to the appeal of the approach. Learning occurs while students complete the assessment. So dito learning occurs while students complete the assessment. Dito is that ang performance assessment is very beneficial because they don't just test what students know, but they also help learn while doing the task. So since these assessments involve real-world or hands-on activities, students practice applying their knowledge and skills during the assessment itself. So dito sinasabi na ang performance assessment is that ginagawa ito ng students, pino-perform ng students ang performance task na iyon. And then, while performing it, they are learning from it. So, while doing it, they learn from it. So, dito na papasok yung concept na learning by doing. So, ngayon is mayroong 4 evaluative criteria for performance test task, which is the generalizability, authenticity, feasibility, and scorability. You can read it on the PowerPoint kung ano ang mga evaluative criteria na ito. Ngayon, ang generalizability is na-anchor siya sa validity. Next is ang authenticity, syempre from the word itself, authentic. And then feasibility or practicality. And then scorability or reliability. Dumako naman tayo dito sa strengths ng performance assessment. Ang performance assessments are better suited to measure complex thinking targets that are selected response tests or simple constructed response items. Students are more engaged in active learning as a part of the assessment because they need to be engaged to perform successfully. So dito kailangan na yung engagement ng students is napakataas upang makapag-perform ng maayos or to perform successfully. Kasi nga, ang performance assessment is need ng engagement ng students since they are doing the task. So, kapag wala siyang engagement, it means to say that mayroong probability na hindi sila makakapag-provide ng product na sa performance task na yun ng maayos. So, therefore, mayroong mga strengths dito, which is ang first is that students who traditionally do not perform well on paper and pencil tests have an opportunity to demonstrate their learning in a different way. So, dito, sinasabi sa pinakaunang strength ng performance assessment is that the students who do not perform well on paper and pencil tests have the opportunity to demonstrate their learning in different way, which is through performance assessment. So, dito sinasabi na naipapakita ng mga ibang estudyante ang kanilang skills sa pamamagitan ng performance assessment, especially na i-improve o na-showcase or na-develop ang kanilang skills, especially their critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, creativity, communication skills, collaboration, and then self-assessment and self-reflection. So, dito, nabuboost ng student ang kanilang skills and kanilang knowledge through performing a task, not only on doing it or answering a paper and pencil test, no? So, dito is mas na-engage kung ano nga ba ang kakayahan ng isang estudyante. Ngayon, ang pangalawang advantage o ang strength ng performance assessment is that multiple specific criteria for judging success are identified. You should share these criteria with students before the assessment so that the students can use them as they learn. So, dito sinasabi na kailangan na ang criteria or yung rubrics or we should call it guidelines for the students in doing the task is that kailangan na ibigay kaagad ito ng teacher before giving the task. Kasi nga, para malaman ng students kung ano nga ba ang ine-expect ng teacher na kanilang gagawin, dito is nagiging guide nila ito sa kanilang pagpa-perform ng kanilang assessment task. Ngayon, dito is nalalaman din ng students kung ano nga ba ang kanilang kailangang gawin. Like for example, may pinagawa ka na activity and then yung rubrics mo or yung guidelines na binigay mo is that nakakatulong yun sa mga mag-aaral upang yung content ng kanilang yung content na kanilang task is that na-anchor doon sa rubrics mo. So, therefore, dito natututo ang mga mag-aaral kung paano nila i-align ang kanilang output doon sa rubrics. Therefore, if na-align nila yung kanilang output sa rubrics mo is that may possibility na magkaroon sila ng mataas na score. Next is ang performance assessment motivates educators to explore the purposes and processes of schooling. Because of the nature of the assessment, teachers revisit their learning goals, instructional practices, and standards. So dito sa pangtatlong strength ng performance assessment is that namomotivate ang mga educators or specifically the teacher itself sa kanilang pinapagawa o piniprepare na performance assessment. Kasi nga, before and after, sa before is yung teacher is kanyang iisipin niya ng malalim kung ano nga ba ang dapat niyang ipagawa, ano nga ba ang mga kailangan, kung ito ba ay kung kaya ba gawin ng mag-aaral ito sa ganitong time limit, kung kaya niya ba itong i-check, kung kaya niya ba itong i-cater lahat sa napakaraming students. And then, sa after naman is that magkakaroon ng reflection ang teacher kung na-implement niya ba ng maayos, kung tama ba yung performance assessment na binigay niya, or yung performance assessment niya ba is authentic na kailangan na-apply ba ng student yung performance assessment na kanyang pinagawa in real-world situations, kasi there are performance assessment na minsan hindi aligned sa pagiging authentic. Minsan, authentic siya but hindi siya na-apply timely ng mga students sa real-world situations. So, kung kaya't namomotivate ang mga educators upang i-explore ang kanilang process, ang kanilang purpose sa kanilang pagbibigay ng performance assessment. Okay. Next is we're going to tackle the limitations of performance assessment. The limitations of using performance assessment lie in three areas, especially reliability or precision, sampling, and then the time. So let's focus on the first is the reliability. Here is ang error dito is, ang limitation niya is ang measurement error. So, bakit ka ba nakakaroon ng measurement error dito? Dito sa reliability, kapag nagbigay ang teacher ng essay items, ang major source na of measurement error is with the performance assessment is with the scoring. So, dito, bakit nagiging limitation yung scoring dito sa essay na ito? Kasi nga, kapag essay, ang rubrics, merong isang rubrics, ngunit yung mga assessor is hindi pareha ng pagkakaintindi o pagkakainterpreta ng kanilang rubrics. Kumbaga, magkakaroon sila ng iba't ibang grading system, even though may isang rubrics, ngunit iba-iba ang kanilang pagka-interpret, therefore, magkakaiba sila ng grading system na pagbigay doon sa essay ng student. Ngayon, kapag ang rubrics naman or ang kanyang rubrics or ang kanyang guidelines is vague. Alam naman natin na kapag vague ang rubrics natin is that it can lead to confusion and the students will not be able to understand or they don't know what is being expected of them. So, dito kapag hindi alam ng student yung rubrics na clear rubrics is that maaari magkakaroon ng misconception ang students at hindi nila alam kung ano ang inaasahan ng guro na output sa kanila at hindi rin nila alam kung ano yung kanilang gagawin. So, therefore, nagiging limitation siya ng performance assessment kapag hindi clear ang rubrics or vague ang rubrics. Ngayon, ang pangalawa is that sa sampling is dito sa sampling is inconsistent student performance. Dito naman sa sampling is that dito nag-o-occur ito kapag, for example, if on the day of the performance the student is ill. Hindi natin maaaring na sabihin na or i-judge or i-conclude kaagad ang performance ng isang student sa isang performance niya lang. For example, nagkaroon ka ng performance assessment. The student is very active. So, therefore, mataas ang kanyang score. Let's say na mataas ang score niya. And then, during the next performance assessment na binigay mo is that the student is not feeling well or nagkaroon siya ng sakit. Therefore, hindi siya makakapag-perform ng maayos and then it may affect his or her productivity during performing the performance task itself. You cannot conclude or judge the student's performance easily with few samples or if you do not have enough records to use for grading. So therefore, nagiging limitation ito sa performance assessment kasi nga hindi tayo nagkakaroon ng enough record or enough na consistent performance result ng isang student. Ngayon, panghuli is ang time. Nagiging limitation siya dahil ang performance assessment is very time consuming for both teacher and students. So dito sa time is mapapasok yung principle ng high quality assessment, which is yung practicality. If you are a teacher, how will you manage your time in conducting a performance task? Kapag ikaw ay guro, paano mo mamamanage ang iyong time sa pagkakandak ng performance task? So, yun yung question ko, I will ask you later sa face-to-face discussion natin kung ano nga ba ang iyong idea dito sa question ko. Ngayon, nagiging limitation yung time kasi it is important to manage your time, especially in giving performance tasks or performance assessments. So, dito, kailangan na meron kang time for preparing, time allocation for the task, and time for scoring, time for scoring and giving feedback. So, kapag nagkakaroon ka ng performance assessment, dito is nagkakaroon ng difficulty sa pag-i-implement. Kasi nga, in reality, we only have sa secondary high school, we only have 45 minutes or 1 hour per hour discussion. So, therefore, hindi natin ma-implement ng maayos yung performance task kasi nga time-consuming siya for teacher. Kapag ako yung teacher, kailangan na mag-isip ako ng performance assessment na kakapag-fit in doon sa time allocation ko sa aking pagdidiscuss. So, kapag sa student naman, paano ma-manage ng student ang time limit na binigay mo? For example, may performance assessment kang binigay and then you only have given them 10 minutes to do the task. So, therefore, magkakaroon ng cramming yung students and then hindi nila makapag-organize ng maayos kapag kaunting oras lang yung binigay mo, di ba? Kapag nagbigay ka ng performance assessment is that maaring pwede mo itong i-homework by group homework and then ipa-perform nila the next meeting. But then the essence of it is that dapat pina-perform nila in actual. So kailangan ng time dito. So, kaya naging limitation siya, kasi it is very time-consuming for both teachers and students. So, kailangan dito is ma-manage mo ng maayos ang time mo in conducting performance assessment. Ngayon, ano nga ba ang generalizability dilemma? The generalizability dilemma means that in performance assessment like projects, oral reports, experiments, or demonstrations, students are usually asked to do fewer tasks compared to a traditional test with many questions. Because of this, it's harder for teachers to be sure that the students' performance on those few tasks truly represents their overall skills and knowledge. So, sinasabi ng generalizability dilemma is that kailangan natin ng enough na evidence or record ng student upang makapag-conclude tayo ng grade ng isang student. So, dito sinasabi ng generalizability dilemma, limited task equals limited evidence equals harder to generalize what the student really know or can do. So, to make it more simple, meron akong example dito. Imagine a science class where students are asked to perform one experiment to show their understanding of the scientific method. If a student does well, the teacher might think the student has fully mastered the scientific method, but maybe that the student only understood that particular experiment, and then would struggle with a different one. Since only one task was given, it's difficult to generalize and say this student really knows the scientific method in all contexts. So, sinasabi dito sa example na nag-perform sila ng isang experiment. Ngunit, hindi ibig sabihin na kapag nakapag-perform ng experiment yung isang estudyante is that alam na ng estudyante ang scientific method in all contexts. So, sinasabi ng generalizability dilemma is that one task or one performance assessment is not enough to conclude or to conclude that the student really knows the topic in all contexts. So, sinasabi dito na kailangan natin na magkaroon ng maraming evidence, marami tayong ipagawa na performance assessments or task upang magkaroon tayo ng maraming evidence or record ng students upang mas mapadali ang pag-generalize natin ng kanilang knowledge and skills upang makapag-conclude tayo ng maayos sa sinasabi na generalizability dilemma. Okay. So, if merong tanong, you can ask me face-to-face during our discussion. That would be all. Thank you.